Okay, let's begin. Hello, guys. Welcome to another session on D365 UG India platform. Today, we are doing session number 31 on the topic how to migrate servers from on-premises to Microsoft Azure. We will cover how to migrate your AX, Navision, or CRM environments to cloud. Uh, Before I hand it over to Umesh, I'll do a quick group introduction. I'll talk about what's today's session about, what are our upcoming session, and few housekeeping rules and disclaimers. So just to let everyone know, this session is being recorded and will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, which will be available for public viewing. So if you don't wish to be consent to be part of a recorded session, then now is a good time to disconnect. All the views expressed in these sessions are totally based on the presenter's experience. It does not represent view of Microsoft or their employer. Any takeaway from these sessions should be tested in a test environment before applying directly to the production environment. We use demo data and lab environments for these sessions. We do not use any real life environments from the existing projects. And we encourage a respectful environment for our attendees and for the presenters. So please feel free to uh, engage on a chat in the chat window and post your questions, but please be mindful and remain professional to everyone. Okay, so a quick group introduction. So we launched almost 2 years back with a view of creating a platform for people to uh, engage, connect, learn, and grow with each other. So currently the group is being run by 3 volunteers, myself, Umesh, and Satya. We all are based in Australia at the moment. We are getting good response. So thank you for supporting us. Keep supporting us. We have almost 2,300 people following us on LinkedIn and helping us to drive this group forward. So a big thanks to everyone. A quick glimpse on the sessions which we have done in past. So all these sessions are available on our YouTube channel for viewing. If you have missed any session or if any particular session sparks an interest, then feel free to check out these recordings on our YouTube channel. So today we will be talking about how to migrate servers from on-premises to cloud in Microsoft Azure. And our presenter is Umesh Pandit. So I'll hand it over to him now. Over to you, Umesh.
Thank you, Rachit, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you, everyone, for joining who is taking pains to join at this time. Probably we are from world, like people are coming in from Sydney, India, South Africa, US, and Canada. So welcome all, even UK, the European countries. So welcome all once again. This is Umesh. I will just now share my screen and we'll get the ball rolling. Today we are talking about the, hope my screen is visible now.
Not yet. Yeah, now it is.
Now it is very visible now.
Thank you. Thank you. So today's topic is how we can actually migrate our AX Navision CRM. That's the core attraction of this session. But actually, you can migrate a lot of virtual machines on any platform actually. So whether it can be .NET, whether it can be Java application, web servers, whatever it is, we have to actually plan it and then shift it to Azure or move it to Azure. So this session is corely, I will tell you that it is actually migrating the servers. Since I'm coming in from AX and Dynamics background, Navision I also have done, CRM also done. So it will be around servers. And in case you have any specific question, please do ask me. I will definitely try to answer it. This is my LinkedIn handle. You can definitely follow me. Connection request, definitely I would not encourage because I have already reached 30K connections. Thank you for following and connection with me. So that's the introduction. Normally, when we talk about any application which we want to move around Azure, as we everyone know that Azure is actually the private cloud, public cloud, and it can actually work as a private cloud as well in case you are moving your applications to like government bodies are moving their workloads to Azure, which is actually a private cloud for them, called as the government cloud. Okay, so It can be any server, it can be any technology which you want to move. You just need to determine few things. We will be going through those terminologies, and I will try to explain you. First of all, the question arises that why should we migrate? Okay, because I see a lot of people, they still want to continue AX in a typical on-premises world, or they don't want to move Dynamics AX or CRM or Navision. Those people who have just joined and they don't know about the Dynamics application, Navision or a CRM, they are all ERP and CRM from Microsoft. It can be any application. Okay, so it can be a .NET, it can be your web server, it can be a database, it can be Linux servers, it can be Unix servers, it can be Red Hat servers, it can be Oracle servers, which are actually hosted on Linux or Unix machines. Okay, so why we should consider Azure migration? The core idea is that it has the scalability, it has flexibility, it has cost, it is very cost effective, it is global reach, it has security and compliance inbuilt. So what I have seen as an cost effective during my projects, I have learned that people are giving a lot of amount to data centers to host their virtual machines, which is costing them a lot. Again, it is backed up by infrastructure, and a lot of service desk operations also happens within that to support the complete data center. While you migrate to Azure, it actually gives you a lot of benefit around the costing. Okay, so in case you don't need those machines for your developers, just shut it down. Or maybe you can have start stop script to start it on weekly basis, and on the weekend it is shut down, no extra cost to your company. Similarly, you can use the Spot, Azure Spot as well. Azure Spot is something which Microsoft gives you discount in case you have taken Microsoft Azure Spot and then you don't use it. Then it can be shared. The infrastructure will be shared by someone in the public cloud, and you will get the discount out of it. Okay, so that's how it works. And also you can go for reserve instances. Okay, so just giving you an overview of Azure, how it works. Even for the reserve instances, people think that if we are tied up with some virtual machine, we can't actually build up um, the other applications on it. Yes, you can build it. Let's suppose you started building up some web services, and later on you think that, okay, you don't want to use it for the web services. Now you want to use it for database. Definitely delete the virtual machine, create the same set of virtual machine, and then you are good to go. Okay, so what could be the migration strategies? Okay, so it can be rehost, which the core factor we are looking for today. We will be more focused on today's of the rehost, which is called lift and shift. We will move application as is in Azure Virtual Machine with the minimal changes in the code. Uh, okay. Then the second is about refactor. Basically, you need to refactor as a re-platform. You can optimize your application for Azure services while making minor code changes. Okay, so it can be done with the help of minor code changes. This applies to .NET versions platform, or it can be focused on the Java or the web services, which is been running on your on-premises servers. You can also re-architect. You can rebuild the complete infrastructure in Azure, and then like in Azure native services for maximum benefit. Similarly, you can replace like drop and shop. Okay, replace means you can replace the existing application with Azure Marketplace solution. So you actually have a cutoff date. Okay, like you stop all the services and then you actually build up your environment. Once the cutoff date is arrived, you just hop onto your new machines, which is on cloud. Okay, you can also retire the applications in case those applications are very legacy, taking a lot of money. Maybe you want to host application for a single sign-on, and for that infrastructure, you are wasting a lot of money. What you can do that time, you can decommission it and you can remap it on Azure. What could be the typical migration steps? We'll come to Azure shortly. Give me a few minutes. What could be the migration steps? Migration steps on an high level basis. It can be assessment, it can be planning, it can be migration, testing, optimization, validation, go live, and post migration tasks. Okay, so we will discuss this more in depth in case we have time today. I will show you the complete process today with the assessment, planning, migration, testing, optimization, validation, go live, and post migration task. What could be the migration tools? Migration tool, the biggest migration tool which Microsoft is using now is Azure Migrate. It is a central hub for assessment, migration, providing insights into your on-premises workload. Azure Site Recovery is also another option, which gives you the replication of on-premises workloads to Azure for disaster recovery and migration. You can also use the Azure database migration services. Okay, this is used for mainly on the Azure databases for MySQL or PostgreSQL. Okay, you can also use the Azure Data Box. Azure Data Box is, let's suppose you have a typical data center in maybe GCC. Now you are having a physical data. Now you want to move that data completely to Azure, and that is more terabyte. And if you start now uploading, it might take 5 years to upload in Azure. So you don't have to wait 5 years. Then what you need to do, you need to contact Microsoft, ask them that we have this much of data. They will come and collect the data and upload it to the Azure from the nearest data center. That's how it has can be done. It's achieved very easily. What could be the best practices? I think we can start from the small, like you have a pilot process, maybe less critical workload to gain the experience. Then we can have the assessment, go for security, optimization, and training. So we'll now move on to the planning. Okay, so in case you have any doubt, please, you can stop me, you can ask me. Definitely that questions are welcomed. Now we'll go for the plan. Okay, so the first comes into the picture the planning about the list of the services. How much servers you want to migrate? What are their domain name? What are their passwords? What is the Hyper-V host name and details? Okay, so some companies are hosting multiple V host, and on top of virtual machine as an Hyper-V hypervisor. Hypervisor is basically Hyper-V. Those who are seeing this Hyper-V for the first time, Hyper-V is the virtualization software. Okay, it is quite similar to VMware. It is also similar to Oracle VirtualBox. I think these three is a quite example. Hyper is basically Hyper-V is from Microsoft. VMware is from the VMware company, and Oracle VirtualBox is from Oracle. Okay. Now you need to also take care of the bandwidth. Okay, what bandwidth it will be using. You don't have to calculate it, but I will tell you what's the escape path. We have the downtime. We need to understand about the downtime while you migrate. What could be the downtime? Maybe half an hour, 1 hour, depending upon the size of the disk you have. Okay, then we have the target Azure region. You need to also aware. So let's suppose you are migrating your services from India, maybe Central India or maybe South India, to maybe you want to migrate to North India or maybe Geo Delhi or Geo Mumbai. Okay, you might be aware that Azure also is providing services with the help of the Geo on their Geo data centers. Okay, so that's a new thing which has been recently launched. Once you have the target Azure region, that you are in a good position that time. Now, also you should have a local username and the password. Why local name, username, and the password, and why we have used domain username and the password? So you might be aware that a lot of applications, maybe like your ERP, your CRM, your .NET application, they can be linked to the domain controller. Okay, you might be knowing what domain controller is, and in Azure, we have Azure Active Directory. So Active Directory is on premises and Azure Active Directory is on cloud. Now, when we talk about these two, what happens is while migrating, okay, always think while you do a replicate, while you press the button for replicate, I will show you in Azure how it works. When you press the button for replicate, you need to absolutely sure that you have created a local admin account with a proper password, and password is set to never expire. Okay, these are the like in service account you create in old school days. Once your systems is migrated, the problem will occur as a public IP. There will be just a internal IP. So you will be shocked to see uh, that it is just giving you just giving you a private IP, and private IP cannot be reached from the public internet. Okay, it has to be having a on-premises systems with the same IP range, the default IP range, or maybe same DNS. Then only you can reach it. Once we have the public IP, we will also configure our NSG. Okay, so any doubt in our planning? All good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I see one comment from Neeraj is around a reason to migrate is that we may miss the bus of generative AI. So I think that's a good point. That's another good reason to migrate to cloud.
Yes, definitely. So AI is definitely playing a very vital role in our day-to-day life as well as in Azure. What I see, there are a lot of alerts, a lot of information which has been shared by Azure with the help of the AI and machine learning. So it's very good. Okay, so we'll move ahead with the content. Okay, so now I will try to showcase you about the Azure. This is my local laptop. Okay, this is my Hyper-V hypervisor machine, which is Hyper-V Manager. The laptop name which I kept as a laptop AUS, and then I created my AD services, AD server, AX 2009, AX 2012, Business Central, Development Machine, Finance and Operation, also machine I have tested, and Navision 2013. I wanted to test some of them. CRM I have not tested here, but definitely on an ongoing project, I have definitely done that migration. So give you the little bit of understanding. We'll see. Uh, we'll try to move ahead with the content. Okay. Now, moving ahead, if you see, these are the servers. This is the Hyper-V manager. Those who are looking this Hyper-V manager for the first time, remember, this Hyper-V manager will only work on operating system, which is having professional licenses. Okay, on the home basic, it won't work. Okay, so make sure that if you are on home edition of Windows 10 or 11, you need to change the licenses. You don't need to format it. You don't need to reinstall anything. You just need to update the licenses, and then you're good to go. First thing. The second thing is, in case you have to understand about your hardware also. Okay, so this is something which I have done on my laptop. But when it comes to an on-premises system, your machine, your lot of infrastructure will be on either on Hyper-V, and it can be on your VMware as well. Okay, so both is supported in this scenario. Okay, so let's get started with our Azure portal. So as soon as we are having this all details, like list of servers, domain username, Hyper-V, all these details we are having, we'll directly hop onto our portal.azure.com. Okay, so once you are at portal.azure.com, give me a little bit of time. I will definitely show you on Azure as well how it looks like. Um, you can search it on the Azure, on the portal.azure.com. Let me try to share my screen again and go on to the portal.azure.com. Okay, just a minute. Window. Okay, let me see if you guys are able to see my screen now with Azure Portal services. Yeah.
Yes, we can.
So normally, if you have used the Azure services earlier, it should be here. Otherwise, you can actually look for Azure MIG, and it will give you the Azure migration. Okay, so Azure migrate. You might be aware what type of search keyword I'm looking for. You can also go with the complete AZURE Azure MIG migration. It will come up on the top. So let's go ahead and get started. So once you are at the Azure Migrate, what you need to do is you need to click on what services, database, all these are actually giving you the options. Migration goes whether you want to go for an Azure's like in servers, database servers, web application, or normal servers. Servers can be any operating system. It can be Windows, it can be Linux, it can be non-Microsoft as well. We can also go for only a database migration. We can have a VDI. If you're already having a virtual desktop image, you can actually directly migrate it here. We have the web application, we have the data box. Okay. How we will manage? We'll manage it with the discovered items and properties. So we'll come here later on. We'll go for the server database and applications. So once we are here, if you see, I have already created a project called data center migration. What you can do, you can quickly come here and create a subscription. On the subscription, basically you can go ahead and create a new resource group. So let's suppose I want to create a new resource group named maybe I'm looking for Dynamics 365 user group India servers. Maybe I want to make this like this and go ahead and click OK. Okay. And then you can also have the same name as uh, Dynamics 365 user group INDIA. And then you can make this as server. It should be always onto the same. There is no relevancy on the resource group or the project name, but make sure that you are creating the resource and the projects having the same name or having some references, because there might be multiple admins in your company to monitor your Azure consumption. Okay, so go and look for this geography. I told you that you need to absolutely sure about your migration, the target region. Okay, so let's suppose the target region is US, make this as US, and then go ahead and create this. There is also an advanced option. Let me show you. This advanced option talks about the public endpoint. If we make this as a private, we need to give this details like which virtual network, which subnet it should lie on. Normally, what I have done is I have done it with the public endpoint so that there is no access related issue or there is no VNet related issues in my projects. Okay, so go ahead and create this. So for you guys, I have already what I have done. Let it create. Okay. I've already created my project as a data center. So I can, if I have created two, I can come here and look for the different data centers, or even I can change the subscription. So right now it is still going on. Let's move on with the next one. Once we are done with our project creation, so let's suppose earlier I have created with the data center a migration, and now it is coming in. So let's suppose, just let me see if I am able to see it. Let me refresh this. It does take some time, and then it should be available onto here. Still refreshing, I guess. Yep. So it has been refreshed. I will go back to home, try to go back to the Azure Migrate, go back to the services, try to see if that has been created successfully. Yeah, so we have created successfully. Okay. Once you are here, you have to have, if you see this, let me zoom out. You see there is an assessment tool and then migration tool. Okay, so I told you there will be two methods. I would say two steps to follow. First one is the discovery, like you discover it. You build and review the business cases. Once you review and build the business cases, you analyze the dependencies and then access. Okay, so we'll move on to the discovery first. So while we discover, you can do the discovery by using the appliances. What could be the discovery using appliances? The difference, I will just show you. And also you can give a import to the CSV file. Okay, so in case you want to include the downloaded CSV template, so let me show you. If you have already downloaded and you have a lot of servers, so let's suppose you are having these servers. Okay, we'll see this as a template and save it across. Okay, and then let's me upload this particular template. Okay. Um, okay, so this has been done and then import. So this is something which you are trying to do it with the help of manual CSV. If you are having this format, in case you are not having, what you can do, you can download this and share it to the administrator teams, though, or the infrastructure team who can actually handle and give it back to with the filled CSV file. Or you can actually get an extract from the VMware team or Hyper-V team so that you get the details. And once you are here, it will try to show you the import status, preparing your project to import machines. Okay, so it will take some time to load. In the meantime, it is taking time. We'll go ahead and duplicate this, and I will try to show you on the appliance setup. This is one type of setup which you can actually quickly analyze, and then the core objective would be on the appliance side. Appliance would give you more insight of your project. Okay. Yeah. Let me show you. It's still loading. Okay. Yep. Discovery has been uploaded. Okay. So we'll come here. We'll try to explore the appliances services. So what does this appliance mean? What is the basic difference between importing the CSV and importing your appliances? So importing the CSV means you will go up to around, you can go up to around 70 to 65%, 65 to 70%, but you will not be getting more use of this. What you can do on the discovery using the appliances, this is something which gives you the discovery, and based on the discovery, you can also do your application. And when the application happens, you can actually migrate the system successfully. So what you can do, you can choose the VMware VMware vSphere hypervisor, or you can go with the Hyper-V, or you can look for any other physical or any other AWS, GCP, Zen, any other cloud which you are looking for. So let's suppose we are looking for Hyper-V right now. Now it comes and shows that generate a project key. What you can do, you can quickly generate a product key based on what is needed. So let's suppose I'm looking for user group, INDI user group, NDIA, and then click generate. So this generation will be mapped up by your VHD, or you can actually create a zip file. So this may take some time. However, let me go to this and show you that it has been, the record has been inserted. Around 10 virtual machines has been, uh, maybe 10 records has been inserted. So we'll go back to the project, try to get this project. Yeah. And so click on the discovery. We have already imported. So we should have, yeah, so it will take around 10 minutes to get the assessment done. So while it is doing, we'll just wait and look for the appliances services. Let me show you quickly that what I have done on my different project. This is the project which we created just now. This is the project which I've already worked on. So let me show you. Okay, so click on the discovery side and you will see that I have already created some appliances. Go and manage the existing appliances. You will see one appliance has been registered. Okay, so what happens with the appliance registration is once you are here, once you are discover, I told you that there are two methods to go. You can download the zip file, install it on the existing virtual machine, or you can upload a VHD and then try to use it. So what I have done, I have created I have created a machine and then started with my Azure Migrate appliances. Okay, so I've created it and then moved to my Hyper-V host. So let me go ahead and connect it. Um, just a note that in case I'm lost connection due to my washing machine spin up, so don't think that the connection that I'm not interested to give you the knowledge. Don't worry, I will definitely move back. Okay, so I did shut down my machine. What you need to do once you have downloaded, I downloaded this file around 12 GB, and after downloading, I have just mapped it. You can quickly go ahead and create a VM like this. Let me show you. Um, you can go ahead and create a virtual machine like this. Whatever existing machines can be, you need to name it. I named it deliberately on Azure Migrate Appliances. You can name it anyone, like you name, let's suppose you want to make this Azure Appliances, or you can say Appliances and then click Next. Choose the generation 2, go for the machine RAM, and then always use default switch. With the help of the default switch, you will be able to access the internet within the virtual machine. Okay, otherwise it will be an issue. You will be again lost to get the internet within the virtual machine. Okay, so make sure that you are having a default switch. And now since we have downloaded, you can actually come here and browse it, the location. Once you are done, you will be able to get your machine listed here. So I'm just creating it quickly. You will get a machine like this. Okay. So right now, same thing, we have done it for you already because it will take some time. So I've already done it and we have already getting connected to here. Now, um, while you open it for the first time, it will give,
Sorry, your screen is frozen actually. I don't know. I'm not able to.
okay. Anyone
It's in
have
single screen.
same issue? Let me
Looks fine
reshare
to
it.
me.
I can
Maybe
I
try
can
to
see from
I
my
share
can
end.
once
see
more.
the research score page.
Let
No,
me
I can't
reshare
see.
it.
Yeah, sure.
Just reshare it.
Yeah, it is fine now.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Now, what happens with the Hyper-V? We have, I have quickly, for the first time it opens, it will try to get you the within the appliances. You will see a Azure Azure Migrate Appliance Configuration Manager. You don't need to open it. What happens is it will automatically open and it will try to set up the prerequisites. Also, okay. So in case this VM is under data center, you might have a proxy within it to get into the internet. You need to set up the proxy. You need to actually set up the proxy over here. Right now it is all good. So I'll just say it is okay to move ahead. Now what it is trying to do, it is trying to sync with Azure, and then it will try to get a updated version of the appliances and it will check whether it is compatible or not. Once it is done, you will see that I have just pasted this migration key, project key. So let me show you from where I got. Generally, you have to go to the manage existing appliances. And once you are there, you will see an, um, okay, so okay, no, my bad. So I need to go to the different project and show you from where I copied. So go to the Dynamics 365 user group server, and then you go and look for your discovery. And discovery, you need to come here. And remember, we created the appliances. I remember creating the appliances. So this is the project key for you. Making sense? So we will not use this because this has been already, I have already created a scenario to showcase that it is going on very smooth. Otherwise, this particular video will be 8 hours long, and then there will be a lot of waiting hours. So I don't want to get into that. So now, once you are done with, once you verify this data center migration, the project key, you have to verify. Once it is verified, it will show you the green checkbox, and then move on to the auto discovery status, and then you try to log in. Okay, you need to copy and log in. It may, I think I may have to recreate the session, but all good. Once we are logged in, okay, so once you're logged in, it will show you the prerequisite is running. And then you need to come here and look for your Hyper-V host with the help of your friendly name and the the username and the password. You need to enter that how you can actually reach the Hyper-V. Okay, so this appliances, why we have given this appliances, why we have added the appliance into Hyper-V, because to get into the same network, okay, first thing, and then it will try to have the communication between the Hyper-V, and then once the Hyper-V or the cluster having the details, then you can actually go and discover it. So once you are having the source as Hyper-V, give the username and the password, and then you should see a give the username, add the discovery source. Let me show you the on the PPT side. So this I've already explained you, and we'll move on to, yep, download. Remember I said it will be 6 or 9 GB. So we have downloaded it and then unzipped and try to map it over here. And starting services, once you are done, you will see terms and conditions. And then you move on to the copying the data center project ID. And then once you are done, you have to copy here. Once you're copied, you will see that it has been showing that it has been validated. After validating, you need to enter the username and the password. Username and the passcode, not the password. Okay, and then this screen will appear. I will approve from my Microsoft Authenticator app. Once it is approved, it will say it is trying to access the Microsoft Azure PowerShell. You need to click on continue. Once you are done, it will say that it is configuring, and it will also say that what email ID you have used to validate this. Okay. Once this is done, you will get the initialization done. Once the initialization done, you need to go and look for your Hyper-V cluster details. You need to generally you can use the Hyper-V name, um, just a notepad. So Hyper-V can be, let's suppose I use Dynamics 365 user group India, and then let's suppose it is a CRM AX server, or maybe CRM, because it is having AA. So let's make this as a CRM server. So it is having a CRM server. What could be the its fully qualified name? So it can be .local.com, or it can be um, CRM server, and then the Dynamics 365 user group India.com. This is our domain uh, by which we are running our user group. So this can be the fully qualified name. Either you use this fully qualified name and the credentials saved, you make this as Dell, which we have saved it in the last image, and then this could be a typical username and the password. Or what you can do, you can copy this and make sure that you are having an IP. So let's suppose you have internal IP as 10.0.1.0. This will also work. Once this is done, you will see a validation. Okay, so it will say, if you see, I've just created this as an Hyper-V friendly name in Azure, username Azure. So to give this is real resemblance. So what we can do, we can do Azure, and over here I will also put Azure. So once this is validated here, I will just try to give this Hyper-V like an source, my IP address, fully qualified domain name. This is my, again, a valid domain name. I have used this aus.umeshpandit.com, and the port is by default by which it will communicate. So it is 5985. And once you click on the validate, as soon as it is validated, it will show you that discovery initiated. That's the first milestone or an achievement which you get. Okay, so once this is done, you need to go and look for a next, which is called discovery. You will see this as a discovery. And if you are not having a database on the environment, you can just disable this. Otherwise, you can click here and go for the database credentials as well. Maybe you are having databases like SQL or maybe MySQL. You can then use the username and the password, and then again you can discover them as well. You need to add the credentials over here. Okay, so till now, any question? All good? Okay.
There's nothing in the chat window. If anyone has any question, feel free to unmute and ask.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going very fast because
Yeah,
there is a lot of things to cover.
it should be fine. Just for the SQL database servers and all, if the credential has to be given in the same window where we gave credential for the VM, right?
No, it will be different. Yeah, over here you need to add. You need to enable this and add the credentials again.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Because see, if you see this, this is backed up by the username and the password. And when it comes to SQL, it cannot be on the fully qualified domain name. It can be a
Oh, yeah.
sysadmin, right?
Yes,
It may
yes.
be on domain, it may not be on domain. So both the
Sure.
ways. Okay, so once that is done, you click on discovery. Once you start the discovery, your first screen will look like this. Azure Migrate Discovery and Assessment. Let me show you on in our portal. Since I try to showcase, okay, so this is our discovery. It will look like this. What happened? Discover servers 10. Okay, do I need to run the discovery again? No. Yep. Okay, so generally it will show us all 10 virtual machines over here. I'm not sure why it is not showing to me, but generally it will come here. I can showcase when we did it for our project. I will just try to show you. This will be the server location. Okay, so this will show you that what all servers we have used, and it is member of the group, and it goes on with the dependencies of installing the required installation. So this is based on your Windows or Linux machine. You need to install the agent. Okay, so let me go ahead and yeah, so this chapter is closed here. Once you do the start discovery, this VM is then not so much used. Okay, it will be only used when you come on to the discovery phase on the second phase where you want to showcase your okay. Now we move on to the Azure portal. Try to show you the groups. Okay, so what you can do once you see that your machines are available, what you can do, you can have look for the imported servers, which we did. Over here, we are able to see it. Okay. What I'm going to do, I can create a name, like let's suppose I have a .NET application. So I'll just make it is .NET, .NET. Okay. And then select the VMs which are necessary. It is not mandatory to select all the servers. Okay, making sense? If you see it is having Oracle and Red Hat boxes, it might be a case that you have CRM servers on Azure you want to move. And while you're moving, the tenancy changes. The Azure tenant is maybe uh, this, just to make sure that you're understanding. This is our domain and we are migrating to this on Microsoft.com. Okay, so this can be a different tenant. Now, maybe I'm moving Oracle. So I will say, so basically they are coming in from the same setup, same tenancy because it's the same data center. Multiple applications can be there. So let's suppose it is Oracle. And while we have the Azure, we want to move the application in Azure. So we'll make sure that it is on Azure tenancy. So it can be like this. You can make this as Oracle practice. Making sense? Similarly, and third example can be, so this will have their own subscriptions. Okay, so this will also have their own subscription. Maybe we are looking for AX or a CRM, AX, AX or CRM. We'll make sure that it is having a resemblance of AX. Remove the Oracle one. Making sense? So this is how you can have a segregation of the appliances. Okay, segregation of the application over here. Now, once you are done, you can click create. So 4 servers are selected, create. So this will take some time. I will just run it to the PPTs now. Okay, so once that is done, what we need to do is the second step will follow. Okay, so once this recovery is done, we'll move on to the dependencies to install. And once it is done, we'll move on to, let me give you, okay, this one, I guess. No, oh, sorry, import paste. And that's the server. You can also do a quick assessment. This assessment can be shared with your management team. So let me showcase that as well. This assessment is basically that while you are on on-premises, what is the cost? And while you move on to on-premises, what could be the costing? Okay, going forward. So go to the assessment VMV Azure Virtual Machine and say we have imported servers and you need to edit this. Remember to edit this. So go and edit this assessment. it is showing you on the best practices which Microsoft follow, but definitely you need to review it. So what could be the target? So we choose as US, so you can go for US East or West. I normally prefer US East actually, or West. Let me see if I have East. Yes, this one is my preferred one. Now the storage type, I'm making sure that you don't occur a lot of cost. So I skip actually. I don't do all this. What I do, I say performance, not the performance base. I will say as on premises. This is very simple, straightforward. What was there on premises, make sure that it is having the same setup in the storage setup. Now what you can do, you can remove this and make sure that you are having normal hard disk or standard hard disk. It is also showing you about the saving options, what you need to do. You can have 1 year reserve planned, you can have 3 years and all those things. I will just say none to give you what could be the real time cost. Now it is showing that what type of virtual machines series you will be using. I will select all and go for the comfort factor. Comfort factor is if these machines are there, how much comfort you are in. So you can choose, you can pick and choose anything, and I will just select one and move ahead. Right now, I will be showing you the pricing on the pay as you go on the USD dollar. There is no discount. Uptime, we are making this for 31 days and 24 hours. Okay. You can also calculate based on 20 hours because we know we are now working 20 hours or 22 hours. Sorry, 22 days, my bad. And then make sure that you are lowering it to 8 hours a day. Okay. Now go ahead with the Azure benefit. In case you already have Azure licenses, remember this, if you already have Windows licenses and you want to have the same benefit of the on-premises license to Azure, you can make sure that it is yes. And then security is by default, you need to have and then save it. Once you are saved, go and select the servers. Maybe I need to do a assessment for all the servers. I will say select all. Try to create the assessment name. Since we are doing it for the all servers, so we'll say all servers. And you can have make it as assessment to remember what you have done. Timings running out. I know this is not actually 1 hour. We have to give more time to this. So this is once you are done, you can choose existing also in case you have already created a group. Go ahead and click on review and create assessment. So once we are done with the review and create assessment on the final go. So this is in between the first discovery and the second discovery. That means it has two steps actually. One is the discovery. The second one is your the replication. Okay, so we are still on the first one. And in between first one, you need to showcase the assessment. So right now the assessment has been done. Yeah, being computed, it would take few minutes to ready. So while it is getting ready, let me go back and showcase the second step. Okay, so once this is done, you will go ahead and click on the migration tool, discover, and look for the Hyper-V, choose the proper data center, maybe East US, and calculate it, create resources. So once this is created, it will try to build up because you will be this will be creating actually the service vault, the key vault basically. The vault service is basically to replicate the servers. So basically from the on-premises, the servers will be in Azure, a key vault, and then from there it will finally migrate to your resource group. So that's how it has been like a midway. Properly, we in Azure we call staging. So that's the staging where it will be kept. Okay, so just it is trying to do the deployment. Once it is done, it will look like this. Okay, so it will have, you need to go back to your Hyper-V host, go ahead and try to install the connectors. Once the connector is installed, it will showcase that one has been connected and your registration finalization can be started. Once this is started, we will see this second migration modernization, wherein we can actually go ahead, look for the replication. Once the replication is done, we go and look for the testing of the migration. Testing of the migration means it will give you option to test the migration, like to access the server, look at the application, whether it is working or not, and then go on to the migration. Okay, so this will be, we'll coming back to this shortly. Give me a minute. Let me go back to the Azure where we are. Yep. Okay. So you need to download. Okay. It will give you the download files. Okay. The migration services. You need to go to the Hyper-V host. Sorry. You need to go to the Hyper-V host. Right now, if you see, this is my Hyper-V host. I need to RDP my main server. It can be Hyper-V host, any main server. So this is my main server. So since this is my main server, which I'm trying to give you the demo, I need to install it on the local machine. For you, those who are on premises data center, so you may be seeing the host. Okay, so these servers are on single host. It can be a similar concept where you have, so let's suppose you have AD server. Right now, the host is your laptop, AUS, and let's suppose I have another. So these services are still on all the servers, but it can be your AX servers are on a different host, maybe Hyper-V host 2, and similarly CRM servers are on Hyper-V, Hyper host. Actually, it's Ghost, not Ghost War. Hyper-V, and make it host. So it can be on 2, it can be on 3. Generally, it is based on the request. Okay, so let's suppose the request is finalized and given to you. You will create all the servers related to the same or a different host. If it is bifurcated, then it will be a very too complex for you to segregate all this, because you have to go a lot of discoveries again and again, and then you need to break the Azure services and then reinstall those appliances. All those things will come in. Okay, so right now I was telling you that this is my Hyper-V. Once we have the downloaded the appliances settings, we need to install it again. Once we are done, we'll see our services, which will be connected like this, which I was showing you. So I think we will be in a position to showcase the delivery. I think it was this assessment. Yep, assessment. So let me go back to this and let me see if the assessment is available for you guys to showcase or not. I think it should be ready. Let me go for the overview. Okay. I think the assessment should be here. Yep. So assessment is ready. Go ahead and click on the assessment. Yeah. This is the thing which I wanted to show you. So we calculated based on 8 hours. Okay. 8 hours a day and 22 working days. So if you can see, this all virtual machines are ready for our migration, and saving on the hybrid benefit is around $235. Hybrid is means basically you wanted to carry the same licenses from your Azure, from your data center to Azure. That's the Azure benefit you are getting. And then the monthly cost, you will be getting around compute value on the compute, sorry. On the compute, you will be getting around on the single compute of the all machines, you will getting $270. And on the storage, you will be getting 64. And then on the security, you will be getting $32 per month billing. And it also gives you the storage monthly cost estimation cost, which is already shown here. It will show you the monthly cost estimate in Azure. Now, this report can be actually exported. Okay, you can export this and share it to your management. It will look like it will look like very good. Okay, so let me showcase that as well. Yep. So it will give you the what project you are done, what is the machine ready, total machine accessed, all those things, and then it will give you the nice graphics as well. It will also give you the details on what our machines are ready, what recommendation disk size they are using, virtual machine this virtual machine size, what is the machine name, and all those things. And then disk also, what all disk has been accessed, it will show you. And then assessment properties, it will show you that what we have selected. So it is like a very good, nice summary for management team or project management team or a finance team who will approve this project. So I think this is the last point which I will tell you. The next slide. So once everything is done, like replicate, test migration, and final migration has been done, you will see that your VM is migrated. While your VM is migrated, you will see that there is no public IP. Okay, so that's the only the private IP. Now, once you are done with this, what you need to do, you need to actually go on to the VM, whatever VM you have migrated. Okay. I cannot show you the complete scenario. Actually, it's a limitation on my subscription as well. So I think all the machines are, I will quickly deploy a machine. Give me 2 minutes. And it can be on my anything. Maybe I want to use the Dynamics 365 FO server and make it to East US, availability zone, no. And we'll make this as Windows Server 2022. Come on. Okay, so we are looking for Windows Server and which version should be 2022. Yeah, this one. And then we'll move on to my, yeah, this is all good. Any higher or lower version you can choose. Make sure that you have Azure user as a username. It can be anything. This is my favorite password. Just try to put in, yep. And then, yeah, that's the port. I can make this as no. When you actually when your machines are migrated, it will have no outbound or inbound port because it's not having NSG. So let's see what happens. Go to the next. Ignore. We'll make sure that it is having a standard one. Rest is good. Networking. I will just say that I don't need any public IP. I will say none. And then move on. So I'm just showcasing you that what could be a how a replicated VM will look like. Now, the people out there who joined this call might be looking for the question that how AX migrated without AD or CRM cannot work without OU. Similarly, Business Central can actually work, but what about the Navision, which is having the NST server, SSL servers, how those can be configured? So basically, once you move, you need to actually, I told you in the beginning that you need to have a local username and the password. So that is how you actually create the Active Directory in Azure and then rejoin all the machines to the newly created domain, and then you reinitialize your all the AOS setups and all those things. You need to do it actually manually. So this is something a little bit complex, but it makes sure that everything with the complete version of your old operating system is migrated as a lift and shift. With the help of the lift and shift, what happens is it is whatever you have here, it will be replicated here. Okay, so you don't have to give a pain on your .NET version, your kernel versions, your all those things. It will be if you start installing it from the scratch, you know, all those small softwares which is required as a prerequisites will not be available for you to download. So from where you will download. So that could be a case wherein this lift and shifts make sense to you. Okay, so this is how it has been done. Let me create it. Okay, so I think we can open the forum for the question answer while it is deploying. We are good.
Cool. Thank you, Mesh. Yes, there is one question in the chat. Praveen, we'll come to you just a minute. But please raise your hands. I'll unmute you guys in the sequence. There's a question from Mala. Can we also migrate AD if it's available as VM?
Yes, you can migrate the Active Directory also, which is a VM. The only thing is you need to know that if your virtual machine is a Active Directory, you cannot add a local user on that. You need to start. You need to have a commands to add it, and then after the command, you need to actually give them the access as a local administrator, and then also you on top of it, you need to give them the access as a uh, RDP member, like a group member policy, that will be there enforced. You can migrate. We
Thank
have
you, Mesh.
migrated that. Go to the services. Yep. Next question, please.
Praveen, feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have two questions actually. One, when we take the assessment, right, it's a point
Mhm,
of time assessment, right? Maybe the server is less used at that time. You know, the resources
mhm.
are, not really up to the, full use. So if at that time, assessment time, the resources are less, and then we give the same assessment to Azure, right? So when it comes to peak time, how does it manage that? I mean, because it chooses the workload according to the point of time resources, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's true question. Actually, good question. So what you can do, you can still go to the setting and give them a minimum management, give them the minimum load. Okay, so go to the settings and remove this 2020. Make sure that it is 31 days and make sure that it is having a 24 hours bracket. So give them the
Oh,
maximum and the minimum, and then you are safe.
okay. Okay. My second
Okay.
question. Thank you so much. My second question is, I mean, in hybrid model, right? Once we can replicate our AD to the Azure environment.
Mhm.
So once we, I mean, extend our AD to the Azure environment, do we need to have change the settings in VMs as well once we import? Because it will have the
You,
same authentic. Yeah.
yes, yes. So you're actually on the correct path, but the thing is, when it you might not have understanding on AX or how CRM works. So they work on only on the Active Directory, not the Azure Active Directory. Okay, if you make the syncing with the help of the on-premises, the AD Connect and the Azure Active Directory. However, over here, the scenario is we need to migrate everything from on-premises to cloud. Okay, so
Okay.
no AD sync happening on premises. That's the reason you need to break that AD, create a new AD here, and then use it.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yep,
That's all.
no problem. Okay, so now
Thanks.
the main part. Now the main part. Sorry, we will take the questions in 5 minutes later. So now how to add the public IP, and if you see on the networking, there is no port to connect. There is no NSG. NSG is there, but there's no port. So we'll quickly hop on to the IP address and make sure that we have the public IP addresses. Create a IP address new. Okay. And what was the server name which we created as Dynamics 365 user? Okay. So we'll copy this one. I think we created on here. And okay, I think it is the same one. So we'll make sure that we are having this correct name. Let me go ahead and copy the correct name of it. The VM. I normally do that. What happened? Yes, FO server, and I will make this preceded by IP. Okay, and then we are good to go. Review and create. Also remember, for everyone, you should have a proper tagging also. Right now, I have not used it, but you can come here and then do a tagging that it is a migration project so that the costing is, from where these costings are hitting your Azure pocket. Okay, so go ahead and do a validation, go ahead and create it. Thank you for staying with us. Probably 5 more minutes and then we are done. Yep, so it is being deployed now. Yep, and we are going to the home and we go with the IP address, which has been created. It has been deployed successfully. We got the IP address. Now there will be an option to associate. So go ahead and click onto the associate. And then it's not a load balancer, it's a network interface. So go ahead and choose the network interface. I think it is still loading. Let me refresh this. Okay, if it is not available, no problem, go to the server, go to the networking, and you need to click on to the connected network interface. So both way can be done. If it is not visible, come here and then go to the network security group. It is already there. DNS, it's already there. IP configuration. Go ahead and make this as a add. Okay, so it is now still not taking. Let me go to the virtual network. Okay, so this is the virtual network which we created. Go to the connected devices. Okay, I think did it got deployed? Yep. Generally, it should be showing the network, and then over here we should see the network NSG which we have created, or the NIC card which we have created. So it should actually link up here. No network interface found for the selected subscription on the central. Yes, give me a minute. I think it is not central. It should be under. It should be under different time, different zone actually. That could be case. Yes, East US. Yeah. Okay. So what I need to do, I need to create a new IP. Give me a minute. Just create a quick one. I think it was. Yep. So I need to change it. It got defaulted and make it IP2 or 1, anything, create. Create. Okay, so it has to be on the same zone. Otherwise, it won't be able to do it. Yeah, I normally troubleshoot on the fly. So that's the case. Okay, so it is done. Takes 2 minutes more. Anyone know how we can RDP the server? So I know it has been created. If I have these servers already, I have all the servers and this server is not IP having the public IP. How I can connect to this server? Anyone? Any guesses? Anyone? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, so go and look for the association. It should now appear. Yep, it is appearing. Okay, so click here and okay. Okay, so to the answer, to the question to the answer is if you see here, all the VMs are having actually on the same private IP range. So what you can do, you can log in any VM. From their VM, you can actually connect to this. So this is something called jump up server. Now people are naming this as a jump up server. So that's the jump up server configuration. Now let me refresh. We have got the public IP. Go ahead and look for the public IP. And we have not whitelisted our 3389. So go to the networking, go to the NSG, and then add a rule. Okay, so add a rule over here. It can be also done from here. Add an inbound rule. Make sure that we are having these services as RDP, and this port will appear automatically. Add it, and then you are good to connect this machine. So go to the connect. This has been already added. It will just try to validate whether this port is available or not, this machine is up or not, and then it will give you the green signal. Let me download it. Once it is downloaded, go to the download and then try to port requests are not met. I think let me refresh this. Sometime you might need to restart the VM, but it should work. Yep, on the other screen it worked. I just need to give the Azure user and then go for the password, enter.
Thank you for sharing the link, Neeraj. So Neeraj just shared a link where Microsoft is doing AIM for Dynamics migrations.
Yes. Okay, so floor is open for any questions you might have.
I want to say a great demo, Umesh. You really went too deep into Azure, really to the core level of properties and running the whole process in within an hour. It's really something commendable. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. It is asking me to password not correct, so I will just quickly reset it. This is how you reset the password. Make sure that you are having the correct username. My password is a little bit confusing. 123. 2, 3.
And to reset it.
I keep on forgetting my password, which is favorite, but actually on Azure, it is like it does not match and all those errors it comes up. Yeah, so demo is completed from my end successfully. So in case you have any doubt, basically we were looking at once the servers are migrated, you may not have the proper IP. So we have given the IP, we attached it to attached the IPs as well. And also we attached the NSG, created a rule. One thing to remember is if you are having a lot of servers, so let's suppose you have multiple servers, like 10 servers joining in one server, make sure that in case you are looking for an Active Directory creation of the VM, you need to actually create all the machines in single VNet. Okay, that's the key takeaway. Always remember, if you are making all these applications to Azure Active Directory, to the Active Directory connection, make sure that you are having a single VNet. Okay, these VNet addresses can be given to your VMs so that you are able to ping their servers and then make them as a DNS to the servers. Okay, so that time the DNS will act as the private IP will act as a DNS server. So that means if let's suppose this UP East is the AD server, this IP, this private IP will be listed in their DNS. Okay, so I think we can cover it later on the networking side, definitely.
That calls for another session, Umesh.
Yep.
All right, all right. If anyone has any question or anyone wants to unmute and say something, feel free to do that. I'll just take a few more minutes towards the end just to talk about what's the next session.
Yeah, thank you, Rachit,
Yes,
for
please.
hosting me.
Thank you, Umesh, for doing such a great preparation and presentation. Really, thank you. And thanks everyone who has joined. So, guys, just a quick note. Next session in our group is happening on 31st of August, and I'm very excited because I will be presenting on this forum, and I'll be presenting it along with Deepak Agarwal, who is based in UK. He's a Microsoft MVP, and we will be talking about how we can use Azure DevOps to supercharge your finance and operations implementation. So we'll discuss all the nice and great things about Azure DevOps and what are the new tools available, how we can do automation. So please register for the session. We will be sharing it on our LinkedIn handles and join the session when it happens. You can also scan these codes if you are interested to speak in our this group. Feel free to scan these codes, submit your session request, and we will be more than happy to organize it. If you have any feedback, scan the code and submit your ideas, feedback, and we will incorporate that. So with that, thank you everyone for joining. Keep supporting us. Please join our group on the links which I have shared. Uh, like us on YouTube, join us on the Dynamics community, and support us on LinkedIn. And stay tuned and join us for future sessions.
Thank you, Umesh. Thank you, Rachit.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for your
Umesh, and
valuable
thank you,
information.
Rachit.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Umesh and Rachit.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.